I have always loved the Christmas season. There's just something about the time that really enamors me. Love the music, the theming, and just the season in general, but this is like the first time in the last 2 or 3 years that I was able to actually decorate for it. If any of you remember the old Aidan 548, 1, God bless you, but 2, you probably remember the old Christmas setup with the big ass tree, and yeah, that was about it. Obviously, things have changed a bit for me over the last few years, primarily the much bigger room, but because of that, that has severely limited me over the last few years on how festive I can really be. If you follow my Instagram account, which is always linked down below, the last time I really had this setup was back in 2020. 2021 was kind of hard because of the 2 beds being in here, so I adapted to that circumstance by buying this tiny little Mario themed tree from GameStop. This thing was $30 fucking, which if you ask me is a little much considering how big it is, and I was so disgusted by this price that I decided to buy another one this year. 2022 was also kind of weird. I had this giant chair in the middle of my room, which definitely would have made putting up the tree kind of difficult if I could find the tree, which was nowhere to be seen in the attic, but I did find this little tree that was big enough to hold some ornaments, which was my major concern, and I'll be honest, I really liked this little tree for the time that I used it, and still having the Mario tree, I spruced up my Switch setup as well, which I have never done before. So obviously, as you can tell, this year is kind of the return to normal for me. The biggest thing obviously being that I found the Christmas tree with no functioning lights, of course, so I wrapped regular lights and these really cool and totally overpriced Mario coin lights that I got from GameStop as well. What's also nice about the much bigger tree is that I can put all the ornaments this year rather than just a few, although I was able to get a good amount on the small tree last year. Anyway, my personal favorites here have to be these Mario Kart ones. So Hallmark has released a new one of these every year, I believe starting in 2021 with Donkey Kong, followed by last year's Bowser and this year's Luigi. The thing I really like about these guys in particular is that they are clearly based specifically on Mario Kart 64 rather than just Mario Kart the brand. I don't know, it just makes me like these so much more. In addition to that, I have a bunch of Star Wars theme ornaments, basic ass Disney ornaments, the cliche theme park ornaments, 2 of which are from my trip to Orlando this year and a few others from previous years. Oh, and this really weird but traditional set based on Mario Odyssey when it came out. Now, you've probably also noticed these little guys hiding out in the tree. These are of course the Yarn Yoshi amiibo from Yoshi's Woolly World. So a lot of years ago, I found that these could actually make for some pretty cool tree decorations, especially considering they're not your traditional amiibo. So every year that I've had this tree, I've made sure to include them somehow, some way. You may have also noticed little Lego figures all over the tree as well, which is another tree strat. Yeah, I'm coining that term. I came across a number of years ago as well. Actually, it may have been the same year. Pretty much take a Lego keychain you would find at the Lego store and repurpose it as a Christmas ornament. Pretty dope. And that gives me a pretty good transition into the Lego displays I have up for the holidays. If you aren't aware by the massive fucking Lego building behind me in almost every desk shot, I kinda like Lego. Hell, I've dedicated a channel and Instagram page you should totally follow to it. I'm sorry. But seriously, I tend to change it out every December to fit with the holiday season. When I was younger, I was completely obsessed with the Winter Village line of sets Lego would do each year, and as of right now, these are the 2 surviving sets from my collection, but I am currently working on mending the train. But since I felt that last year's display was kinda lacking, I also revived this somewhat older Minecraft set, which, I'll be honest, was not an easy process. I'm not actually entirely done with this display yet. If I get a little more time, I plan on making a mock to display this tree, and of course, populating the train station. The other display that I have is for the Switch, so as I said last year, it wasn't too complicated, and this year's isn't too much either. Since Zelda was pretty big this year, and 6 out of the 9 stands on the Donkey Kong display have Zelda figures with 3 more sitting idle by, I replaced the Mario tree with the Zelda one, which is still ass expensive. And where does that leave the Mario tree? Right here. Why'd I do this video? I don't know. Probably a mix of boredom and procrastination if I were to guess. Anyways, Merry fucking Christmas.